Season 39, War number 6, and we are up against X+K9. And this time my team will be Tigra, Pryde and White Magneto. I'm taking path 5 in section 1, as well as that Killmonger on the Ebb and Flow knockdown, Joe Fixit on the hazard shift, Nick Fury on the scared stiff node, path 5 in section 2 as well as that Pryde and Longshot, and then all the right side mini-bosses. And there are a couple interesting fights in this war, but the main event, that is to come a bit later. Up first we have an America Chavez on the Ebb and Flow knockdown and right back at it nodes, and I'm taking this fight with Pryde. And the game plan here is the usual: nuke the opponent down with a single special 2 strat that I usually use against Ebb and Flow nodes. But this America Chavez has a very annoying AI. She likes to hold block and then throw those heavy attacks, so it makes it more difficult for me to gain my prowesses. On top of that, I also mess up multiple times in this fight, and instead of face blocking her specials, I actually constantly miss with my face, and that consumes my prowess. So now that I'm at my special 2, I haven't built up enough prowess, so I simply won't be able to try to nuke her down with it. So instead of the special 2, I decided to go for the special 3 instead, trying to build up my prowess here first, and then going for a heavy knockdown to remove the Ebb and Flow protection. Before doing that, I do want to bait a special from her, but she's just not throwing it for some reason. And again, she goes for a second heavy attack and gets double negative zone dimensions, and that means that my mutant power boosts, instead of giving me power, they drain my power, so I will be at 0 power at the end of this special. On the other hand, America Chavez survives the special 3, and she's at her own special 3 there. She could have thrown it, but I did have my phasing up, which means I would have taken no damage from it. But the fact that she wasn't throwing that one either did get me a little bit scared there. Luckily she did hit into my face a couple times, and that was enough damage to finish her off. Now we've got a Mole Man on the Ebb and Flow knockdown and heavy hitter nodes, and the plan here is to use Pryde and this time try to nuke down the opponent with a single special 2. To do that, I first need to build up my prowess up all the way to 20. Well, preferably you don't always need the full ramp up, but it is very easy to do, so might as well get the full damage. Then get to your special 2 and find a way to knock down the opponent. Against Mole Man, I usually either bait a special 1 from him and then punish that with a heavy attack, or I go for a phase heavy, or I simply just parry heavy him, since I am using a mutant champion. Mutant champions reduce the shrug of chance of Mole Man, so he won't always shrug your parry stun. He still can do it, so you need to keep an eye on the monster mass pop-up icon if you do land a parry. If the monster mass pop-up doesn't show up, you can safely go for a heavy attack and he will not shrug the parry. Next up we have a Killmonger on the Ebb and Flow knockdown and right back at it nodes, and I'm taking the fight with Pryde. And the game plan here is also to just nuke the opponent down with a single special 2, or if the opponent survives, I do have the mutant power boosts active, and Pryde's specials are big enough that you should always be able to chain in another special after your special 2. Especially if you have her ramped up a little bit with those prowesses. Now I do make a slight mistake here. I punished the special 2 with a heavy to knock him down to remove the protection, but then when I dashed in to throw my special 2, I threw it while he still had his indestructible charges, so the first 2 hits didn't do any damage. The first special 2 didn't finish him off, but I got enough power to chain a second special 2, even with basically no prowess when throwing it. It luckily was enough to take him down all the way. Next up we have a Joe Fixit on the Hazard Shift Incinerate and Shock node, and I'm taking the fight with Kitty Pryde using the White Magneto pre-fight. The reason for the pre-fight is that I can simply just parry my opponent to gain 3 prowess whenever I need to, so that I can keep phasing. The game plan here for damage is to simply just bait Joe Fixit a special 1 over and over again, and then phase the bullets. That is basically all I'm gonna be doing in this fight. I will be avoiding hitting him directly during the shock phase, because Kitty Pryde is not immune to shocks. The divas themselves aren't really an issue, but since any divas on me give me a chance to glance, I won't be able to crit the opponent, meaning I won't be able to gain any prowess that way. And also with the insult to injury node, any divas on me also lower my defensive ability accuracy, meaning I can't land parries either. So just to play the fight safe, I won't be hitting him during the shock phase. Now this is a pretty safe fight when you think about it, but there is also some risk to this. If you miss time you're phasing, or if you fail to gain enough prowess to phase the special 1, you will most likely die. Since I will be avoiding hitting him during the shock phase, he gains a lot of prowess from the aggression prowess node. So failing to phase the special or trying to block it will more than likely take you down, since Kitty Pryde is pretty squishy. Next up we have a Nick Fury on the Scared Stiff node, and I'm taking this fight with Kitty Pryde. And to make the fight go faster, I did put my recoil masteries back on, and for that reason I also used a White Magneto pre-fight. Since Nick Fury is a global defender, having the recoil masteries on at the start of the fight means that I will be glancing, and because of that I can't really build up my prowess at the start of the fight. So to avoid any issues caused by that, I wanted to use my White Magneto pre-fight here to get the passive stuns. Those allow me to build my prowess up whenever I have to, or need to. Now I do mess up here a little bit. Instead of simply just trying to dex or block the special 1, I decided to eat it into my face, which consumed my cleanse charge. And since the special 1 animation takes a while, the root timer expired and I got rooted. That in itself is not really an issue, but I simply just wasn't ready for it. Since I did have the cleanse charge, I figured I would just be cleansing the root debuff, and I failed to realize that eating the special 1 would inflict disorient on me, and that would consume the charge instead. So now that I messed that up once, I will be keeping that in mind for the rest of the fight, and if I'm taking this fight again in the future, just to make sure I don't mess it up like that again. Now I've got this fight down pretty well here. I got Nick cornered, he entered his second life, and all I need to do is just keep doing what I have been doing and he will go down. But this Nick Fury simply just decides he doesn't want to throw his special 2. So, since I do have to play around the root timer as well, I need to sneak in a hit here and there to reset it, but he just isn't throwing it. He waited a full 25 seconds before he decided that now is the perfect opportunity to get me with the special, and that's just simply annoying. Luckily this node does have the Power Focus 2 node, so he has reduced power gain while he has above 2 bars of power, otherwise he would have gotten to his special 3 there. Next up is a Kitty Pryde on the Power Snack and 1 Too Many Hits nodes, and I'm taking the fight with Kitty Pryde. Normally I would be using Omega Sentinel, since she is the best option for it, but I couldn't fit her in the team this time. So Kitty Pryde it is. Now the best way to fight Kitty Pryde is to manage her prowess, and to do that you simply just need to bait her special once and block at least 1 hit of it. She needs her specials to make contact, or she won't consume her prowess, and then she would she would simply just keep phasing and doing all that annoying stuff. Now the issue on this node is that the opponent goes completely unblockable on their specials if they have 3 or more prowess, which Kitty Pryde very often does. But since I'm using my Kitty Pryde, I can simply just phase block it, and if it's unblockable, it doesn't matter, it breaks through my block and hits me directly, and then that hit pauses the phase and causes the last 2 hits to miss. So Kitty Pryde is an excellent option here. I won't be using any specials, though I probably could have nuked this fight down with a special too, but I just played it safe and down she goes. Kitty Pryde is a great option for Kitty Pryde. Have I said Kitty Pryde enough yet? Nope, I will be still using her for a few more fights, so you're gonna have to hear me say it. Next up we have a Wong on the Ebony Maw intercept node, and I'm using Kitty Pryde. Surprisingly. And the game plan here is to nuke him down with a single special. Though instead of the special 2 I will be using the special 3 in this one. Now the way I like to fight Wong is by baiting his special 2s instead of the special 1. The special 1 activates his spells, which is where most of his troublesome abilities come from, so if you simply just keep baiting the special 2s, you should be just fine when taking him. To deal with the special 2 itself, I like to just phase block it, because I don't really have the dex timing down yet. I haven't had a reason to practice it, so just to be safe, I phase block it instead. And as you can see here, I still have the timing for the phase blocking. Or well, I don't have the timing for the phase blocking. I missed a couple hits there, and I went in too early for the first one. But even then, he goes down without any issues here. Although, when I finished him off, he did have a bar of power. So, now my Kitty Pryde has the crossfight, and that can make some fights potentially pretty dangerous. Now, the next fight here is a Mojo on the Ebony Maw intercept and mighty charge nodes, and I am using Kitty Pryde here. So Mojo starts the fight by gaining a bunch of power as well as a passive theory. Now in this fight it's not really an issue, to be honest. He just starts by using a special 1 and I simply just block. Now the game plan against a Mojo with Kitty Pryde is to simply just keep going for either 2 or 4 hit combos, and that's about all there is to it. I could nuke this fight down with a special 2, but I decided to play it safe and simply just take him down with basic attacks, at least most of the way. Now, with Mojo, I don't really have a preference on the specials I'm gonna be baiting. If he uses his special 2, I usually dex it, at least most of it, and for the special 2 I try to avoid it without triggering dex, just so I don't trigger Mystic Dispersion or any degenerations on me. Even if a degen does trigger, Kitty Pryde can phase at least most of the damage, if not all of it, so Mojo, generally speaking, is a pretty simple kitty fight. Next up we have a Longshot on the Ebony Maw intercept and mighty charge nodes, and I'm taking this fight with Kitty Pryde. This is the last kitty fight of this war, and the game plan here is to just take him down most of the way with basic attacks, and then when I'm sure that the special 3 will finish the fight, I will be using that once the protection is down. Now with Longshot, the main thing to note is that his special 1 cannot miss, so do not try to face that. Other than that, you should be just fine. But now something interesting does happen in this fight. Keep in mind, Longshot's special 1 can't miss, so if I were to dash at him when he throws it, it should make contact. Here, however, I avoided it, somehow. It didn't miss, because it can't miss. I didn't dex it, I didn't block it, it simply just went above me, I guess. I have seen that happen before with different champions as well, so it has been a thing for a very long time. I just haven't been able to get it on video before this. So I did slow it down a bit there so you can check it out easier. And I just thought that was interesting, so I pointed it out. Now, since it is also pretty difficult to do on purpose, I would suggest simply just not trying to dash at him when he has a bar of power. Anyways, now that he was low enough, I simply just faced the last hit of his special 2 and dropped my special 3, and that is more than enough to finish the job. Now then, for my Tigra fights of this war. A King Groot on the safeguard mini-boss node here up first, and the game plan here is to simply nuke him down with 1 or 2 special 2s. King Groot is tanky enough that a single special 2 most likely won't be enough. Now, the game plan here is the usual: advanced power boost to start the fight with a bar of power, and bait 2 heavy attacks and punish them with your heavy. That gives you enough power to get your special 2 with a couple of ruptures up on the opponent, although King Groot shrugged off the first 3, meaning that the special 2 didn't do the full damage that it would normally do. And now, at 30 seconds into the fight, I'm already at my second special 2. I throw it, but even that is not enough to take King Groot down. But with the combination of the power gain from triggering ruptures as well as the mystic power boosts, I got enough power to get back up to a special 1, and that burst damage from it was enough to take him down all the way. Next up we have a Terrax on the Stunning Reflection and Polka Dot Power mini-boss node, and I'm taking the fight with Tigra. The game plan is to start the fight by going for a couple aggro sets, by baiting a dash attack from Terrax and punishing it with a heavy attack. 2 of those is enough to get to my special 2 because of the advanced power boost I still had active, and now with the combination Polka Dot Power and Tigra's own power gain, I'm already up at my second special 2. 2 special 2s and the fight is already over, and this is the exact same strat that I had against the Terrax boss earlier in the season, although that didn't go exactly as well as this one did. Now for the main event of this war. An Ebony Maw on the Brute Force mini-boss node, and I'm taking the fight with Tigra using the White Magneto pre-fight. The game plan: corner him at the start of the fight with my basic attacks, bait special 1s, punishing them with my heavy attack, and then a max of 2 special 2s is enough to take him down. So, that is the plan. However, I start the fight in a fantastic way by getting shallow evaded by Ebony Maw, followed by a combo. Now I'm taking brute force damage on top. I go for a heavy punish on his heavy, mess up the spacing, and get comboed after that as well. Now I'm down below 30% in the first 25 seconds of the fight, and it's not looking too good. Now I gotta bait a special 2 from him. If I get clipped, I'm dead. I managed to dex the last 2 hits just fine, but now I'm taking degen again from brute force, and everything is just going horrible. I got to my special 2 with the primal sense still active. I get a few ruptures up and throw it. Ebony Maw dexes the first 2 hits, so I lost out on a lot of damage there. And now, down to 14% against brute force, blocking hits with disorients up. Everything is going horrible. I mess up a dash back, get comboed once again, and I'm dead. There goes my deathless season. I died in a Tigra fight against an opponent that should not be difficult at all for Tigra. I couldn't believe I messed the fight up so badly. I had a game plan and everything. I knew exactly what I needed to do. I just messed it up, and well, there she goes. However, in this war Tigra was still rank 4. Now I have a rank 5-1, so I will not be accepting a repeat of this showcase here ever again, hopefully. Now I'm still tilted. I went in the fight with Kitty Pryde straight after. Definitely shouldn't have done that. I should have just taken a break, thought about it for a little bit more. But since I had my boosts active and I was simply pissed at him, I decided that screw it, I'm going for it. I know what I need to do. And I got him down without any issues here at the end. Very unfortunate, but these things happen. Now, as for the results, even with my death, we did end up winning the war 6-5. So we won by a single death. My death could have cost us the war, luckily it didn't, and even if we tied on deaths, we still won on fight time, just barely.